Welcome to the Trying to Be Better podcast with Joel and Steve.
There we
go. We did it. Hey, everybody.
We haven't done it yet.
That's true. It's what it's about is just, it's about taking the leap. It's about hitting record.
Pretty much.
We're kind of in this zone of just like, let's go. Whatever happens is going to happen.
I tell you, man, I feel a little bit, I'm maybe a little bit remiss. I'm a little remiss with you right now because, because I have news. And I'm a little ashamed.
Yeah, let's start off with some shame, everybody. Welcome to the Trying to Be Better podcast with Joel and Steve.
Well, what I did, Joel, is I was out a couple days ago, and I went out south of Lincoln a little ways, like we talked, and I went by the town that I'm not going to say the name of, but let's just say that that actor Alan Rickman.
Yeah.
Okay, so it sounds a lot like that.
Gotcha.
Speaking of, did you know that he's one of the Korgons? Did you know that?
I don't like to disclose.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm breaking.
You know what I mean?
I know, but it hit. Okay, so but this will tie in a little bit. You'll understand why I kind of brought him up.
Okay.
So man, I went there, man. I went to the portal just to see, because I'd been a while and I wanted. Yeah, I heard, man. It was like the wind just took me there, and I was standing, and I know that it's normally you don't even see it, but it was one of those things where I felt like I had been called there, and I was standing in the spot, and it was like the leaves knew. They knew that, like, the longing and the sincerity, and they felt and it opened up for me. And it wasn't time for the opening yet. Like we're not even close to the great opening. That's years away. But it opened, and I stepped through, and it happened, man. The leaves, they were singing, and it was it was just exactly, it was like what I expected, but so much more.
Yeah, that brings me a lot of emotion, man. I'm getting welled up just thinking about it, because
What, you're not mad that I went?
I'm not mad because
I felt kind of, we hadn't talked, and I was just, I just felt pulled.
I think that's the true indication of the interdimensional message coming through, is that you felt that pull right in your solar plexus where they planted the chip.
Oh God, it's right there.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right where they planted the chip.
Yeah.
And so I think that means that you're on your own journey towards Korgon. And I think that when you're standing at the opening to the womb that connects this dimension to Korgon, and you're recognizing you feel that barometric pressure shift that we have been told is wind blowing through, but what it is, it's the breath of the ancients. And I think that you being a part of that journey is good. What I am a little upset about is that you haven't kept up the every fortnight going there. You said it's been a while, so that's the only, and I'm just concerned for your consciousness.
Well, what's your schedule? Because I feel like maybe if we're gonna, I feel like we should do it together, really.
I think that,
and I'm the one that just breached that. But if you've been going every fortnight,
and
how's that been? Is that? Do you feel like welcomed, I guess?
Yeah, but I also have to check that with my own programming, because sometimes I go there and I'm just like, it's like, I just go there every Thursday night at 8:37, like the texts say. And
you're talking about
I'm there.
The original texts,
the original, not the updated version, the actual ancient texts that were, I think they were distributed in MS-DOS in 1983 to everybody.
It was one of those Easter eggs. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When you were playing the G.I. Joe.
Everybody knows that MS-DOS isn't from this planet.
No, it's not. How could it be?
Right.
But I was 3 and I was on my Commodore 64 and I read something I can't unread, and that was the,
well, see, that's how deep this message is that your Commodore 64 was running MS-DOS. Correct. I mean, that's in itself that couldn't happen in this plane.
Right. And I didn't even know how to read, but I could read it. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know how to read.
That's because it's universal.
Well, it turned on the chip in my solar plexus. So anyway, what I'm saying is that, when I'm there on Thursday nights at 8:37 on the dot, and I'm standing in front of the opening, the womb, if you want to, the womb door.
I think that's a good earthly explanation that most people can wrap their minds around. Like, most people understand what the womb is.
Right. And it is it's
more, but I mean, that's sure. But I mean, to me, my experience with that has been, it's like so much more than that.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's a Patreon content only, what wombs mean to us, but you know what I mean? Like, so, sometimes I stand there and I just scroll through TikTok, and sometimes I'm there feeling the barometric.
You scroll through the most earthly of things.
I'm not ashamed to admit it.
Well, I feel like that's where salvation is, if you're into that sort of thing.
Well, all I'll say is the algorithm on TikTok has picked up, and I think there are subliminal TikTok messages coming through. Sometimes, from the Korgons, I think sometimes it'll be, just a twerking video that randomly shows up in my feed, or it'll be a Samsung Galaxy ad.
Sure.
Or it'll be somebody talking about how they, hate the pandemic. I mean, but I think the Korgons are really trying to reach me. And that's what I'm saying, is that I've felt that pull, and I'm just glad that you're feeling that pull now. So don't be ashamed.
I'm not necessarily, I mean, like I said, I'm not so much ashamed as I am. I just feel a little remiss.
Yeah.
That I didn't, at least shoot you a text like, hey dude, I'm going, south.
Yeah.
But I did, but the reason why I don't exactly feel bad about it, and I hope you understand, is that the magnitude of that experience was that, I mean, I got welcomed isn't quite the right word. It was more like, I'm trying to think of something. No. Something finite that like our brains can understand, because I'm struggling for words and I experienced it. It was like enveloped in light.
Yeah.
Well, it was in and through and within, and it wasn't just light. It was I'm gonna puke in my mouth a little bit, but like serenity.
Yeah,
it's like just this all encompassing piece of knowing that this ancient civilization still exists, and it exists just for love, and that all of the trials and tribulations that we are experiencing here on this earth are just that. There's just these tiny things, and that there's a truth out there that is so much greater. And like, that's why I felt like, how, that Alan Rickman plays some pretty dark characters.
Yeah. Snape.
Well, wasn't he the guy in Die Hard, the bad guy?
He was the bad British guy in Die Hard.
I feel like the reason, in order to bring that level of darkness to those roles, like, he has seen the opposite of that 1,000-fold.
Well, I think
and it's a shame that he's not with us anymore, so that we could, I'll use the expression, pick his brain, but we know that's, I mean, it's so much more than that. But well,
I mean, that's what it says in, chapter 8 of the ancient texts, or, if you want to think about section 8 of the ancient text, that
sure,
that's what the Korgons essentially want to do is to literally pick our brains, and look for the space between our neurons so that they can implant their love. I mean, that's what I've been told. Other people think about it
seems really mechanical.
But it is, but love is a chemical, right? I mean, love is a chemical.
But the experience I had the other night was not mechanical. Maybe it was, there was like, pheromones or something. I don't know. I'm not a scientist, but because it was, like I said, it was this, there was a before and an after.
Yeah.
There was a before and an after. And when I was kind of, told, I guess, because the leaves were singing. They were singing.
Oh, were they? Did it sound like this?
No, it was like higher and kind of maybe a little bit, kind of, but it was like multi-tonal layers and layers of harmony and
like a cricket choir.
Yeah, but way prettier. I mean, it was like,
that's subjective. So
that may be true, but for me, my experience of it was like pleasurable doesn't even begin to describe. It was so much more than that. It was
celestial
and aware and celestial and cosmic, and even though that word sounds corny. It's like I would say like holy, but I think that word is like really limiting in this context. Because it was so much bigger than that.
I think
and when it kind of subsided, that was my like there was nothing else to do but turn around and return to spread this message.
Where did you go? What was the first place you went after you experienced that? Where was the next location you went to?
Sonic. I got a limeade.
Okay. I knew the answer to that. And it's interesting because it's kind of like, what you would choose after experiencing a Korgonic download is kind of like a tarot card reading, so
tarot card reading.
Let me finish.
Okay.
That I crave diet ocean water every 2 weeks.
Is that why you go to California periodically? Is that
correct?
And Florida? So, but it's different sides of the sphere, so I'm sure the water's a little different.
No. I'm talking about the drink at Sonic.
I didn't know that was such a thing. I always just go for the straight old. I don't even look at the menu, just cherry limeade. Like boom,
I'm a level 6.5, so that's why I think back at a few years ago they used to have a flavor called ocean water, and it's coconut. I think it's coconut and something else, and they've taken it off the menu, but it's a secret menu now. And I'm level 6.5, so I don't have to follow rules or menus. But I just want to say I'm just proud of you, and I'm grateful that the craving for a Sonic carbonated beverage is part of your experience, because what you choose kind of is your marching order in the fold. And I'm a diet ocean water.
Sure. Well, see, that's interesting, because so you're saying that like potentially everybody that is I guess welcomed will have their own Sonic drink.
They'll have their own. Well, think about let's put some things together. The sound of the leaves singing.
Yes.
Sonic drive-in.
Sure.
Combination of flavors, carbonated flavors.
There was something about the cherries, the maraschino cherries, that for me, just that bright red, it's a callback to the feeling, I guess, of the leaves singing.
And see, when I stand in front of the opening, in front of the womb, and I'm ready to receive the message and experience the quickening and all that, what I feel like I'm on like a beach in Hawaii or on a Florida Key.
Sure.
And so what carbonation being, we're all carbon, Cargonians are carbon. That's the delivery system. So we desire carbonation. And if you look it up, and this is true, Sonic uses 35% more carbonation in their soda water than
of course
any other.
they do.
Yeah, so you're getting more, and that's why you're craving it. And so when I stand in front of the opening, I crave carbonated suntan lotion.
It's carbonated suntan lotion. That's why that's coconut. It smells like the coconut.
It smells like
it smells the what is the old the sun tropic.
What is it?
What was that called? I can't remember. Well, that's why it's so old. That's from the ancients.
Right. Correct. I'm really, really happy that you're understanding, like you're getting it.
Well, I'm just thankful that, you told me about this, because I mean, obviously this, our little podcast here has been like, we felt called to do this.
Yeah.
And this didn't just come out of nowhere, is what I'm discovering. Like, this was not an accident. We were predestined,
correct,
for this to happen.
Yeah. Predestined.
Sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This comes from something way outside of anything that I would have planned. I mean, this has been completely unexpected in a really, it's almost, I'm almost a little resentful, frankly, that I mean, don't get me wrong. It's like now there's this yoke of responsibility.
Yeah. Right. With like Spider-Man said, quote unquote, we know that that's a propaganda film, but with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
So you've been given the power. I mean, keep drinking your cherry limeade.
Well, I think that was the purpose of this visit, was that the leaves told me through the beauty that, like, yes, this is true. You have been chosen, and yes, it is going to be difficult, but feel this right now and know that this is it's like a taste of what lies beyond.
Correct.
As we move through, once the great opening happens.
Oh, I can't wait.
Well, be patient, because it's a ways off. I mean, we got a lot of work to do between now and then.
Well,
I'm being told sometime in 2027. That was kind of what the leaves were singing, but that's, it's translating to Earth time. It's all weird, and I don't quite understand it. All I can hope for at this point, Joel, is that more will be revealed.
Correct. Yeah.
Like,
I think the interesting thing about like your particular chosen pathway in the Great Army is, that you're experiencing time, like you're getting revealed time and dates and stuff. And what I'm seeing, what I'm being shown is, well, it translates loosely in Corgonian as credits, but I think in Earth language, it's money. So I am here to gather credits, assets, resources, money. So if you want to Venmo me, then we can be a part of the great opening, and then eventually the Great Awakening.
Man, if it's anything like what I just experienced, I mean, the opening, forget about it. Then the awakening,
we got to. Well, that's the whole thing about a cave or a womb, is that you got to open it.
I'm seeing that, man. I'm starting to see that. Yeah, absolutely. And that's just this little. I've already said too much. About the location and everything. I'm sorry for that, and I hope that the
Well, I think people that
understand that I'm just
people that are curious,
and,
they're going to look and they're going to find it, and you either get to hear the song of the ancients and find their way or not.
I feel like, because this is, it's in a spot where people go by all the time. They're looking for those morels and hunting the pheasants and whatever. And
high vibration. It's a high vibration area.
And we have totally, but we haven't heard anybody else talking about it, which means, because like neither you or I would go there. We don't hunt morels or pheasants or.
But I just have to believe that there are people in the area that have been out there hunting, or maybe they were out walking around that particular area doing a one of those corny like engagement photo shoots next to a tree and an old fence, and they heard the song, and they saw the light, and they just stood there in awe for a second. They didn't know what it was. They're not ready yet, but. Well, they're going to find the podcast.
Well, I hope so. I mean, I hope that this is kind of a more not subtle, but more accessible entrance for just most humans' brains, because it is. Right. It's like it's a lot,
Yeah,
and how I was able to be in tune I don't know. I'm just riding the wave here, man.
I wonder if it's, I think about that too, because when I discovered the opening, or when I really understood the texts, by the time I found my way to this high vibrational area, it was like, I don't know that I was in tune, but it was tuning me, like I was being tuned.
That's interesting.
So it's kind of like without, beyond my control, maybe.
That's what I'm trying to say, is that like, that's the part, like I said, resentful earlier. It's almost like, it's really confusing now to have this knowledge and to think, well, but I got to go to work.
But that's where the real transformation comes, right? So I think you just start leaving, maybe treat your team to some, cheese curds and Sonic French fry, hey, does anybody want to go on a hike near that area? Or
but do you think we're ready for that?
I think that, I don't presume, because we are the messengers of the message.
Apparently. That appears to be happening.
And I just can't, as much as my ego wants to be a Korgon, I don't think that I
don't think we're there yet.
I don't think we're there. I think we could be just pawns in their game, which I'm willing to do, or maybe we're just,
can I be a rook?
Yeah, maybe we're just food, like they're growing us for intelligence and they're going to consume. I'm willing. So I don't.
That just opened up a whole other thing for me, because if that actually, boy. Well, see, now I'm a little scared, Joel. I'll be perfectly honest, because part of it. I had that feeling, and now it's like maybe I'm just getting like duped. I had like, that's the pull, Well,
I think that, looking at infinite intelligence and galactic love. Takeover through collective love.
I perceived love, but maybe that's all a Trojan horse,
But looking at it through our limited human emotional landscape.
That's what I've been trying to come back to. Is like, dude, you're just a human. Like, you can't possibly understand all of this.
Yeah.
Hell, maybe I'm just the maraschino cherry on some cosmic limeade for some other galactic being. I don't know if I want to have any part of that. And yet I feel compelled to continue.
That's part of it, man. Well, thank you all. This is the Trying to Be Better podcast, otherwise known as The Message. We're brought to you today by Sonic Drive-In Restaurants. I think it's not by any stretch of the imagination a surprise that their largest carbonated delivery system is 44 ounces. It's called the Route 44. And in the 44th degree of the 44th quadrant, you will find a huge star cluster, and that's where I think we are all going to be transported to. That we are the.
Well, I tell you, I hope so. I truly.
Route 44.
It really is that simple once you see it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like you don't know until you know. But then when you know it, you can't unsee it.
See, now I feel bad for even doubting. I was doubting for a second.
This is why I'm 6.5, and this is why you're 2 3/4, because I think as you continue to make your fortnightly rites and trips, and you continue to drink your limeades, and you continue to look for signs, your emotional frequencies will align themselves with Korgon.
I can only hope. If it's anything like what I've experienced just here recently, I can only hope. It's all I can do is just try to be better. I can't believe it all just came together like that. My mind just.
It's okay to cry, man.
I'm weeping. I'm weeping with joy right now.
It's good. That means you've seen the truth.
It's so
proud
beautiful.
of you. I'm proud of you. Oh boy.
How long did we make it?
About 26 minutes.
It's so beautiful. But
How's so other than that stuff, like
sure.
How's your week, man?
Well, I got COVID. Which is just this earthly bullshit.
Well, I was gonna bring it up, but I didn't know how, like, if you were okay to talk, because the last time we had a podcast, you were like, I think I'm fine.
Nah, shortly after we got off the mic is when I said, I should probably get tested. And I came and got that test from you, actually.
Yes, you got that test.
And it came back positive. And mercifully, thanks to, modern medical science and, vaccinations being boosted, the effects of it were very minor. Like a weird cold, basically. Never lost my sense of taste or smell or anything, but I have been, I isolated Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Then I went back to work Thursday because that's what we do. And that's what we do, just wearing I'm wearing a N95 mask, and I've been isolating in the bedroom, and that's been just, isolation's so weird,
Yeah. How is that? I'm glad that you're feeling okay. And, I'm glad that you haven't experienced some of the gnarly symptoms, because that's the thing, like around this discussion of the Omicron variant, it's like, it's mild, but I'm like, I don't want to risk one of my senses. I don't want to lose my sense of taste or smell.
The thing that makes that quote mild a misnomer is that it's so incredibly contagious.
Right. And when they say mild, what they mean is you're not going to get put on a vent.
Well, hopefully, as long as you're vaxxed and boosted. And with Omicron, you have to be boosted.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which I am. So fortunately for that.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know.
You were mentioning isolation. Like, what was?
Well, yeah, because for 3 days I really didn't leave my bedroom, which fortunately I have a bathroom, and and Holly was great and brought me food and stuff. And if I came out in the house, everybody put on a mask, and I've been wearing a mask basically the entire time. And I don't know. It just made me grateful, really, to not be on a friggin' ventilator.
Yeah.
In the hospital with people not being able to come see me. I can't imagine, the horror of that.
And we've all heard stories of folks being like faced, like I've because of my brother, who is becoming a medical professional. There are these really darkly funny, like medical professional meme accounts, and there's people on there that are like, that have just stopped making jokes for a minute, and they're like, this is what we're doing. Right. Like, we are literally FaceTiming these people while they moan on a ventilator to their family their last sounds.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I cannot imagine that. So,
well, and what's even more bizarre is that some of those people believe they don't have COVID.
Yeah. Up until the end.
Yeah. And their family is like, this is all a lie. You're lying to us. And so on top of being completely overwhelmed just from a logistics and resources standpoint, the medical professionals have to deal with that idiot shit too.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful that I'm not in that situation. Yeah. I'm grateful that I was able to isolate in the comfort of my own home. And, all things considered, it wasn't something I'd care to repeat, but it was not horrible,
because of the precautions you've taken, including 100%. Vaccinations.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And it really, because of those things, I get to just continue my life, so it's really nice, actually. Yeah. But it really did, make me cognizant of all of the resources that I have in my life. Both,
how so? Like,
well, my wife and my kids, my immediate family, my mom, just people like you and a couple other friends that had things like COVID tests and just support. And, a couple of people reached out like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah. Right.
Like, that's pretty, it just makes me very aware of like how fragile all of this is. Right.
Yeah.
And that it should be treated accordingly.
Yeah.
And not really taken for granted. That's, I think, the big takeaway is like, dude, don't take any of this for granted, because it could be a lot worse. So,
it's just, it's wild to me too. And Kirsten and I were talking, not to make this about a more general discussion, but the last week and a half felt like another oh shit, but we still have there's no stopping the things we have to do.
Nope.
And that's like, it's a whole nother weird chapter of this fucking ongoing trauma that we're all going through.
Right. Yeah.
Is that it's like when, because I think back 2 years ago, I like maybe knew somebody that has a cousin that maybe got COVID. And now it's like my best friend in the world, COVID.
Right.
People that I know now, COVID. I'm like,
right.
The fucking infection rate at the place that I work is like 10% positive.
That's pretty high.
It's pretty fucking high. And it's like the numbers are, so it's like, it feels like, oh, this is worse, but you better clock in.
Right. And that's very much the reality.
It's laid bare the sort of, I don't know, the capitalistic drive that we're all under here.
The show must go on. The
show must go on. And period. And in my life, Steve, that is literally the phrase that is imprinted upon us as theater artists, that no matter what happens, the show must go on. And I'm kind of like, but does it?
Right.
Does that need to happen? Do we need? And I we're all left to kind of like ask the question. Sorry, I didn't mean to go on that tangent.
No, it's fine. That's what we're here for.
It went from like gratitude to what the fuck. But
well, that's our life now.
Yeah.
Because I mean, look at the existential hellscape that's right outside our doors.
Well, dude, this is everybody knows some semblance of modicum of what mental health sort of factors need to be there for us to be okay. If you don't feel fundamentally safe, you can't process anything.
Right.
We have not felt fundamentally safe
for a long time.
And it's like, we haven't even begun to process what the fuck's going on.
And we're like, we're Americans.
And we're Americans. We're the most privileged fucking group of them all. And we're still, everybody's traumatically,
Yeah. Dude. Well, not everybody. Because not quite half the country still believes that nothing is happening besides, elections being stolen.
But they're digging in that nothing is happening is part of it.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I mean? Like, you can't just say, well, because you have to dig in on that belief. Because
we're back to people dying of COVID and everybody, them and their families saying, I don't have COVID.
Yeah.
Like, that's how deep the denial goes.
But you can't, that is still, in order to hold that line, it's still traumatic, and they don't feel safe either.
Well, I think that's, yeah. Well,
you know what I mean?
It's because, the immigrants are coming for their jobs.
Yeah, well, yeah. So it's like, there's no sense of digestion of what's going on, because we are still in the weeds with this.
Yeah. I mean, fortunately, like, I don't want to deny that there's some sort of, existential trauma happening, but like, I'm pretty good at being in the weeds.
Yeah.
Thanks to really meditation. Yeah, this is happening.
It's funny that we brought that phrase up. It's in my mind because Kirsten and I are reading through Brene Brown's new book, The Atlas of the Heart.
Holly just got it. Is it good?
Fuck, dude. It's so good. I mean, we read the introduction, which is lengthy, but she definitely sort of describes the data that she went through, and she's legit. She's not just like, I'm going to write a book about feelings and I don't have to prove that I know what I'm doing. Like, there's like tons of a whole team of researchers or whatever.
Yeah, but those researchers, they're just motivated. They're just motivated by money.
So in the first section, she talks about stress and being overwhelmed, and she equates it to working in the food industry. Stress is feeling like you're in the weeds, which every server in the food industry has felt at every shift. Like, I'm in the weeds, but it's not full shutdown. It's just, hey, things are stressed. I've got 5 tables that all want things. But then there's that feeling of being blown. And it's like, that is being overwhelmed when you need 10 minutes or whatever to stop. You need to, and you mentioned meditation. She talks about that. Like, the shift manager at a restaurant, when a waitress says that she's blown, it's like, okay, everybody take her tables for 10 minutes. She goes outside, smokes a cigarette or looks at the sun or whatever. And you need that time of non-doing.
Yes.
And if the world isn't giving you that time of non-doing, you got to make it yourself.
You have to take it. Yep.
And we just had no reprieve. I mean, not that there ever really is, but I don't know. I honestly, dude, I've been, to quote Pearl Jam, that song Education, I've been questioning my education. I've been questioning, like, I don't know, man. I'm like radicalizing myself all over again. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? You know, like,
I mean, as a society,
yeah, like,
we're collectively in massive amounts of denial.
Totally. I mean, when I get messages from my employer that's like, okay, we're going to commit to doing on ground stuff. However, if circumstances come up, let us know. We want to know about it, but you have the autonomy to change it, but we want to approve it. So, but do it the way we're supposed to do it in case you don't want to do it that way. And it's like, what the fuck does it, you know what I mean? Nobody has.
Thank you, Simone.
Exactly. And maybe that's like,
oh my God.
Maybe I just want like Uncle Sam to figure it out for me, which is really not healthy. You know, like I just want somebody to figure it out. And it's like, no, you got to be a part of the mess, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. I got nothing.
Corgons take me away.
It's going to happen.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, we still have to lay the groundwork for a few years, but you know,
I'm really glad that you're okay. Like, I think that this is a time to say that, Steve. I'm really glad that you're not one of those people that were like, fuck the vaccine. And then I have to like watch your demise over Zoom. Because we've known somebody in our circle that we had to watch that happen.
Yep.
And it was not pretty. And I wasn't even close to that person.
Right.
I would be a mess. So I'm really glad that you're okay.
If I was, you know, that guy, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
That's true.
Right. So
is everybody in your household safe and okay?
Everybody's fine so far.
Amazing.
I know. Yeah. Well, you know, this thing's pretty weird. You know, I know people that, you know, their spouse has gotten it twice and they haven't gotten it once, you know, so it's just weird like that.
Super weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't know that I'm like, I don't know. I just feel weird. It's like, it's worse than it's ever been, but we still need you to do things the way you used to do them. And it's like, I don't know that I'm willing to sacrifice my sense of smell for the rest of my life so that XYZ happens, you know?
What are you, a communist?
Kinda, totally. I was joking.
I don't know about communism, but there's got to be another answer.
I try to troll people by whatever. I say this in class a lot. I call all, you know, instead of classmates, I call them all comrades just to try just to see if somebody reports me.
Oh my God. That's so funny. Have you watched, we talked Hail Caesar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I just watched that while I was, you know, quarantining, and where George Clooney gets, you know, kidnapped by the communists.
Yeah.
That was so great. God, it was great. And of course he gets sucked in because he's, you know, pretty, but not too bright.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, so what sort of media comforted you in your isolation?
Oh, yeah. So, well, yeah, I watched that. I watched Hail Caesar because it was, you know, I tried to chew through the Coen Brothers movies just because
they're amazing.
That's what I'm saying. And even the ones that aren't amazing are still really, you know, just good. You know, I really enjoyed that one. I watched Quantum of Solace, one of the newer Bond movies, just because I know it came up and that was fine. And I started watching James Baldwin's I'm Not Your Negro.
Oh, yeah.
and I'm about a third of the way through that, and it's just incredible.
He was unbelievably. I was talking to a student about James Baldwin recently, and just how unbelievably unapologetic he was.
Mm-hmm.
Did not give a fuck.
No fucks. Yep.
And it's so, it like when he speaks and speaks his truth, it's like it hits you right in the fucking chest, like a you know, it's just like you can't deny that he's speaking 100% his experience from the truth, and you can't help but listen.
Right. Yeah. So that's been my whatever serious thing. I try to, try to learn something a little bit, and the interspersed with Grateful Dead videos.
Did you watch a whole show?
I watched kind of randomly 12/28/83, so like the lead up to the New Year's run, just kind of another day at the office, during the darkest time, in the band. I mean, Garcia's full-blown junkie, nothing, no way to dress that up,
Right.
And really, really dark times, really nothing positive happening creatively, just playing the gigs.
Yep.
And it was great. It was so good. I mean, Garcia looked like hell, but I mean, I watched the whole thing. Well, the whole second set, I guess. And at the and at the end of it, I was sitting there thinking, that was awesome. It was great. Like, I can see how they, I call that desperation dead.
Yeah.
Because everything's just so dysfunctional and fucked up, and yet the show goes on.
Yeah. Wow.
And it's and I'm sure, I mean, the scene during that time, not great either. The we've talked about before, the AIDS of Aquarius.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that there were people there that had that Corgonian experience.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's the real message, is that, it opens up where it's supposed to.
Yeah. Opens up possibilities and hope and light from the darkness,
Yeah.
And that's kind of always the thing about it's a full,
I know it gets me too, man. It gets me too. It's okay.
It's a full spectrum experience, watching these guys that should never have been anything in the first place, becoming this Ouroboros that's eating itself to stay alive, turn concrete arenas into pillars of light. Like, why shouldn't that happen?
Yeah.
That's kind of the lesson,
Hey, what else are you going to do with your life?
I don't know.
What else? I mean, that's the thing is that keeps coming up for me with that music. And if you made it through our opening message and you're still here, we're going to wind up here anyway, but that's
sure.
The dots I'm connecting with that it's like, Garcia even said something like, yeah, I'm here to have a good time. Like
100%.
I'm here to have a good time.
That's literally all I cared about. And music.
Yeah.
That was all.
I'm here to have a good time through music. And I'm here to have a good time. And I'm not here for a long time. I'm here for a good time.
Kind of, yeah.
And that comes with its own set of consequences too.
Yep. Yep. Well, like I finished reading that. I highly recommend the book Dark Star, an oral biography of Jerry Garcia by Robert Greenfield, I believe.
I'm going to see if does it have an audiobook? Is it fairly new?
No, it's been out for a while.
Okay.
But
What's it called? What's it called?
Dark Star, an oral biography of Jerry Garcia.
Okay.
Because it's the whole book is interviews with people close to him, to include Steve Parrish and Rock Scully and a guy named Owsley Stanley and all of his wives.
Right.
And some of his girlfriends and his kids and the managers and the roadies and people, just old friends, his older brother, his oldest friend.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't pull any punches. And it's really, I mean, I've read so many, I've been, on and off quote studying this man for 30 years, and it blew my mind, and it framed things in a way that I'd heard the skeletons of the story, like the outlines, but getting into some of the details, and just so watching that 83 show in that context, having just finished that book, was really, I don't know if I had no sympathy for him, but a shit ton of empathy. And it was really, I mean, this is, deadhead level 6.5 that nobody needs to go to, but it's like, it was really kind of moving to know the shape that he was in, creating this art still, out of inertia and out of the need to make that money to feed that Jones.
And
it's really easy, like the punks would just lambast that, you're a dinosaur, look at you, you pig, kind of thing. And Garcia's response is, yeah, man, I know, what would you do? Why don't you cast the first stone, asshole?
The audacity to keep going,
right? Why would you look at yourself? Of just doing what you do.
I think there's something really, I mean, I know that we've kind of touched on this subject before, but I'm about to go into a couple of projects that I don't even know are going to happen or not. But, I was feeling, and I've talked about my anxiety with the blessings in my life before, and I'm getting back to the Jerry Garcia point, but I was feeling really anxious about some callback stuff I was going to do. And I start rehearsals tomorrow, and really nervous. But once I started doing it, it was like I had all this energy and power flowing through, like artistic power. And I think that's part of it, that like, because I anticipate it being this pool, like bad energy, like dark, just like it's going to suck. Like I'm anticipating the suck. But what sometimes that really is just tremendous artistic power. And I'm not saying that I'm some genius. It's just when you kind of tap into that thing that you're supposed to do. And I think that Jerry Garcia is a good example of that. He's not a good example of maybe as a human being, perhaps, but he's also certainly not a human being.
Certainly not as a father.
Right.
Or as a husband.
Or as a husband. But the ability to live in that unafraid creative space to open up portals in space and time, or go out there and fuck it up, to fail big, to fail forward, to fail, like I think
fail in the name of progress.
Yeah, exactly. That there's something pretty powerful with that. And I don't know. I'm trying to lean into that versus what I really want to do is just like hide.
Sure. No, I appreciate that in my own work. I've got some things going on that are difficult,
Yep.
And it's be real easy just to curl up underneath my desk in a fetal position and take a nap,
Yeah.
But like, as soon as I start taking just the most mundane actions, like making a phone call, any sort of movement or action towards something that may hopefully end up being a solution, then I get energized.
I have found that this week too, because there was something like I wanted to go through the script I'm directing and cut it down a little bit so I had space for other things in the show that I want to create. But it was like I was dreading just doing that task, because I thought, it's going to be so cumbersome. What do I cut? And I put some fucking music on, and just, it was like I got out the machete and just cut everything. It was great. I cut the whole show down in like an hour and a half.
Nice.
And it was just like hacking things away. And it was like, when you're in your sphere, in your space, and you just take those little actions. And it was born out of the idea of one day at a time. Like that's kind of been my mantra. I've gone back to that.
Sure. Weird.
This week.
That's weird.
I know. I've had to, like, Joel, you don't have to think about a month from now. All you have to do is what you have to do today. And it's like, why do I forget? Like I meditate every fucking. Why do I forget? Why do I? It's so helpful.
That's the my meditations lately. I can't remember who said it. Maybe it was Tara Brock or no, it was Mary Stankiewicz. Maybe the golden moment, or maybe it's God. I can't remember. Sharon Salzberg. Whatever. They're all great, but so if I'm miscrediting this, I apologize. But the golden moment is the one where you realize that you're thinking.
Yeah.
And just like, no matter how stupid or like, oh man, there I am failing at meditation again. Like, no, that's actually the golden moment where you just start breathing again.
That's the real,
that's where
the point.
That's where the magic is.
If the point is to leave all that, then you're going to be really disappointed.
Sure. I have had
what I mean?
I've had that experience.
And that's why I started doing it, because I wanted to curb my anxiety and change my behavior. And what I realized, the real goal is to come back to it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's been super helpful, because I've been worried and anticipating things that are not even here yet. But when I just focus on what can I do today, and then when I do those things, stopping, thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Once I complete those tasks, put it down.
Yeah. You're done with this now. Move on.
Yeah. And even if it's like, move on to the next task, or just put it all away and chill, and don't, you did the things today. The importance of, I think the importance now more than ever is to find those moments of not doing anything, because the world is a fucking dumpster fire.
Yeah. And I think I've actually taken that, like I've made it okay for me to do that during the day.
Yeah.
I've made it okay for me to do literally nothing for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And that can involve sitting and just noodling on the guitar, laying on bed, watching something on the iPad. I mean, just what are you doing? Nothing. I'm not doing anything that matters about anything other than just.
Right.
Yeah. Not even meditating.
Right. Yeah. Not even formally. Yeah.
And that's been really nice. I mean, I don't have a life of leisure. I can't even imagine what that would be. Actually, I can, because I've kind of done it, but I did it the wrong way. You understand? Yeah. At the wrong time in my life.
Yeah.
But that to afford myself 10, 15 minutes of leisure.
Yes. Fun, leisure.
Sure. Yeah.
Pleasure, enjoyment.
Yes. It's been really great.
Guilt-free.
100%. That's when I say give myself permission, like I'm not going to do a fucking thing right now.
Yep.
And it's been really great.
Yep. I think in our very first podcast, I talked about video games. Like that's something that I don't know where the story started for me, that video games. Holy moly. There it is.
That was a good one. Bless you.
Woo.
Mm-hmm.
That video games were like were bad or a guilty pleasure or something.
It started with my dad.
It did for me too. Yeah. I don't know if it was my dad, but it was like,
no, I'm saying my dad's disdain for it rippled out into the universe. And
it's like, well, that's such a waste of time, and it rots your brain and all this stuff. And I've let go of a lot of. I'm just, enjoy it.
Yeah.
Why not? I'm not calling in sick to.
Right. You're
blow through Zelda.
Right. But that would be a problem. That would be called video game addiction.
Yeah, that would be a problem. I have been on, peak lockdown, been playing video games while on a large, work meeting.
That's fine. That's totally fine.
I listen better.
That's what I'm saying.
I
actually do. I actually kind of do, because of the whole attention deficit thing.
I have been seeing signs of the fact that I probably have undiagnosed ADHD.
That's sure. Why not?
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
Throw it on the pile.
Yeah. It's good. It's good times. Yeah.
Well, one day at a time, Steve.
That's what they say. I'm just glad now that I have this new thing to look forward to.
Yeah. The path, the message.
Yeah. I'm really curious to see how that unfolds, because I definitely need more information. I'm in,
Yeah. Well, just be open to the downloads when they happen.
Sure.
You know,
I always am. I try to be. You know, this is a whole new thing.
Yeah, man.
So,
well, I look forward to everybody's sharing their experience with the message. If you get a download unexpectedly, or if you happen to find the womb,
please email us.
Yeah, email us. Tell us about your womb experience.
Yep.
And tell us about, you know, how the craving for carbonated sustenance at Sonic drive-in restaurants found everywhere. And what your Route 44 is, you know, like what's your task in the Great Awakening?
We'd love to know. We need to meet up, and
yeah,
because I know there has to be more of us out there. We can't be the only ones.
We can't be. So join us.
Yeah, or we'll join you, whichever.
I love you, man.
I'm crying. It's so beautiful.
It's really it's a beautiful thing to witness.
Yeah. Cool.
Congratulations.
Okay. Thanks, man. All right. I think we did it.
Email us at ttbbpodcast@gmail.com. Follow us at Instagram at Trying to Be Better Podcast. And toot your hooter.
Toot your hooter.
Passing through the corridor, I came upon an aging knight who leaned against the wall in gnarly armor. He was on his way to see the king. Wilson, Wilson, Wilson. He led me through the streets of Prussia talking as he tried to thresh a bug that scurried underneath his boot heel. He said there was a place where we should go. So he led me through the forest to the edge of a lagoon by which we wandered till we reached a bubbly spring. The night grew very quiet as we stood there. He lifted up his visor and he turned to me and he began to sing. He said, I come from the land of darkness. Said, I come from the land of doom. Said, I come from the land of game hedge, from the land of the big baboon. But I never am going back there, and I couldn't if I tried. Cause I come from the land of lizards, and the lizards they have died, and the lizards they have died, and the lizards they have died, and the lizards they have died. Told me that the lizards were a race of people practically extinct from doing things smart people don't do. He said he was once a lizard too. His name was Rutherford the Brave, and he was on a quest to save his people from the fate that lay before them. Their clumsy end was perilously near. Lizards would be saved, he said, if they could be enlightened by the writings of the helping friendly book. In all of Prussia only one existed, and Wilson had declared that any person who possessed it was a crook. He said, I come from the land of darkness, said I come from the land of doom, said I come from the land of game edge, from the land of the big baboon. But I never am going back there, and I couldn't if I tried, cause I come from the land of lizards, and the lizards they have died, and the lizards they have died, and the lizards they have died, and the lizards they have. The helping friendly book, it seemed, possessed the ancient secrets of eternal joy and never-ending splendor. The trick was to surrender to the flow. We walked along beneath the moon. He led us through the bush till soon we We saw before our eyes a raging river. He said we can swim it if we try. And saying this, the night dove in, forgetting that his suit of arms would surely weigh him down. And so he sunk. And as his body disappeared before me, I bowed my head in silence and remembered all the thoughts that he had felt. He said, I come from the land of darkness. He said, I come from the land of doom. He said, I come from the land of game edge, from the land of the big baboon. But I never ended going back there, and I couldn't admit if I tried. Cause I come from the land of lizards, and the lizards they had
Don't forget, toot your hooter.